You know what I love?
Sports.
I love sports.
Sports. When
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do, and they don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Buchanan,
Nuño.
little hungover today without alcohol. It's a weird vibe this morning. Like, I think the emotional roller coaster that was Saturday has me kind of like, yesterday I had a lot of energy. And today, not so much, because I'm just kind of, like, we dodged one. It's kind of how I feel about it right now.
Yeah. Look, they definitely pulled one out of the fire, okay? But I'm still excited about it.
Oh, heck yeah.
In fact, I spent a big part of yesterday, much to Irma's chagrin, looking at podcasts from national people and seeing their reaction, kind of gauging what other people are thinking. And then even this morning got up and I rewatched the game.
So are people looking at us as like, oh, I think A&M's been exposed? Or are they saying, like, look at the resolve of this team?
I think from the ones I saw, it's like, look what they did. They've shown that they've been, they show a new way they've been able to win. They've shown that they can win a rock fight. They've shown that they can beat teams in a blowout. They've shown that they can come back before, but now they've shown that they can come back from the edge of disaster.
Yeah. Where does this A&M experience rank for you? Like, I'm not saying 1, 2, or 3, but just like when we think about moments in A&M history, football, like this has got to be one of those like that you're going to be like, remember where you were when this happened?
Yeah, I think right now it'd be like top 10 if we're talking about just about football, right?
Uh-huh.
But understand that it can climb significantly depending on where they go from here.
Sure.
For instance, in 2006, Florida beat, you look this up, and I'll do it on when we're off air. Florida beat South Carolina by blocking a field goal, like on the last play, or close to the last play. So they escaped and went on to win the national championship. I bet if you're talking to Florida people, they would say, yeah, the way they just manhandled Troy Smith and Ohio State in that national championship game, that's the thing that stands out. But then they'll also remember, but if we didn't survive South Carolina, we don't even get there.
Right.
So, so definitely top 10. And by the end of the year, it could be, top 2 or 3, depending on where A&M goes from here. At least that's the way I see it.
So A&M has, to me, clinched the playoff berth, regardless of what happens against Texas, right?
I would think so, because I'm expecting a resounding win over
I'm expecting a win there, and hopefully an SEC championship win too. But they're in the 12-team playoff.
There's only 11 teams. If I counted correctly, there's only 11 teams in all of college football right now with 1 loss or less.
Right.
So you're going to have not even 12 teams. I mean, there's going to be a 2-loss team in there, and A&M's not going to have 2 losses.
So, just out of curiosity, do you think A&M's done enough to make the 4-team playoff from the prior installment of the college football playoff?
I
would think so.
I think so. Yeah, I do. I think at the worst you go 11-1, and I don't think you're going to go 11-1. Let me be clear, but at the worst you could go 11-1. So I think so.
Let's talk emotions now, okay? We're going to go before, during, halftime, and after. Okay? Before, I'm thinking, all right, this is just a formality, and I'm going to take care of business. It'll be a little tight, And then they'll find separation in the fourth quarter, much like what I saw from Georgia against Texas. Maybe not to that extent, but that's kind of what I expected. I didn't think they would cover, but I thought they'd win 15 to 18-ish points is what I kind of thought. That's what I thought heading into it.
I thought they would cover. I thought we would see for the whole game what we saw, at least to some degree, in the second half. And we almost did.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I didn't know that A&M would come out not ready to play. And
Right.
it was pretty obvious by the amount of drop passes and missed passes and missed that. Right? Is that fair? That they just looked like they did not come out ready to play, like they didn't get the memo that the game started at 11.
They looked like a team that found a way to make every mistake possible.
Yeah, I just don't think they were ready to go out and play that game yet.
And then the last minute of the first half.
Mhm.
So you give up 10 points in the last minute of the first half. You know, at 20-3, I'm like, gosh, this is bad. At 30-3, I'm like, but do you remember the conversation we had at halftime? There was two things we discussed. I don't know if you remember this,
Okay.
right? And Kane Egley was involved. First thing was, have they just blown their opportunity to go to even the freaking playoffs?
I remember that coming up.
And then me doing the mental gymnastics. All right, if they score right out of the break and they hold them and then they score again, we're winning this game.
Yeah, I do remember saying, look, the defense is going to have to not let them score.
Yep.
And thankfully, I thought it was a blessing when Shane Beamer decided on that first series, decided to go for it on fourth down because it gave you a chance. Now, maybe they would have missed the field goal, but the kicker seemed to me like he's pretty good. So, yeah, I mean, there was all those things. Look, I was thinking, you know, I mean, who knew they were going to go, that Marcel was going to go Joe Montana in the
Right.
second half, especially at the way he played. But it was like he went from horrific to historic all in in 30 minutes. And by the way, we'll get to it, but because I know we'll get to it. But what about the stone? You know, last week we talked about the stones on Elko.
Yeah, how about the stones on Elko?
For the fake punt.
Punt, yeah.
And now you're looking at 4th and 12,
The biggest play of the year.
and you're going to go for it on 4th and 12. I thought, okay, they're going to try to pick up about 6 or 7 yards and then go for 4th and manageable. 4th and 12, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to punt. And I went, wait, they're going for it. Man, that
And then Marcel is the one who picks it
a
up.
guy that I love it when Marcel runs, right? I love it when he sees that opening and takes it, and he saw an opening. And man, can he fake people out? Look at him fake number. Well, you can't see it if you're listening to the radio, but he fakes out number 1 to get, and then he fakes by first number 0, and then fakes by number 1, picks up 16 yards. So, but just to have the, I don't know if it's confidence, I don't know if it's intestinal fortitude, I don't know if it was desperation, but just to, as your coach, say, yeah, we're going for it right here on 4th and 12.
What happened after both times going for it on fourth down?
Well, they went and scored.
They scored two plays later on that one, and then on the 4th and 2, they scored on the very next play.
Okay.
So
I knew they scored. I didn't know it was the very next play.
Yeah, so they were able to do it. Look, what the second half, they didn't punt in the second half. The only mishap they had was the mishap.
Hey, Colin Klein, you called a tremendous game in the second half. I'll give you a 99 for your grade in the second half. Or actually, I may have to deduct 5 points for hey, I'm going to run a trick play and I'm going to take the ball out of the hands of my quarterback that's just on fire, and I'm going to put it on a true freshman to have to make a snap decision. Now, it just, in no circumstances does that make sense. And you know what? Mike Elko actually took the blame for it, and he even acknowledged, it's a bad decision.
Well, and I think a drive that we don't really talk much about is the game-winning drive. How many yards did they have to go?
99 yards.
99 yards on a punt that I wish they would have picked up earlier. Drops all the way to the 1 yard line, and then you just go. You get a benefit of a call in there, but you just go.
The guy did.
Yeah.
Was holding on to him. It was what a drive. 15-yard pass here, 10-yard pass there, 15-yard. The only thing I really regret about that drive was what I think is just the horrifically bogus penalty on Chase Basantes on a holding penalty.
A Heisman moment for
a
Marcel.
Heisman moment. A second one taken back off of by holding penalties. I don't think we're there. He had a 57-yard run against Arkansas that would have ended it, and they called a holding penalty on Chase. I keep looking for it. I might be there. I don't see it, but this one, it was just I don't care what the guy, the official, the expert, on the broadcast. I just don't see holding there. And quite frankly, on all the podcasts I've watched, and some of them involved, NFL players, they're all saying that you can't call that.
No, but they did. They called it. It doesn't matter. They overcame.
And what a pass Marcel threw on the very next play.
KC across.
Yeah.
Gets you right inside the 5, and then you go capitalize.
EJ takes on. Let's go KC, EJ, TD. Let's go win.
I actually think what happened on Saturday is the best possible thing that can happen to A&M. And let me tell you why, OB.
Okay.
And I ask you why.
I ask you why, David. Nuño.
The answer is
David 10-0.
Because a lot of times a team, let's just use Ohio State last year, for example, losing a game to Michigan, okay? That was the wake-up call that they needed, the slap in the face that they needed. A&M found out in real time, if you don't come ready to play against an SEC team or any playoff caliber team moving forward, they will punch you in the mouth and get up on you 30-3, right? But A&M got the benefit of, okay, we're at home, we can navigate through this, let's go play a perfect second half pretty much and win. Because you get the benefit of the lesson and the victory.
That's true. I know this is a high school story, so maybe you don't think it translates, but it's still football. So you'll remember back in like 94, the famous John Tyler Plano East game, where Plano East was down like 44-14 and got like 3, or maybe it's 44-1, whatever, got 3 straight, or maybe it's 4 straight onside kicks and scored. And then it looks like they pulled it out, and then they kick off the last play, and John Tyler returns it for a touch. And I remember talking to the John Tyler coach. They went on to win the state championship. I remember talking to the John Tyler coach. His name was Alan Wilson. And he told me, he said, we don't win the state championship. We don't win another game. Had we not won in that way, had we just won because we had the big lead and held it, we don't win the state championship. He said, that changed everything for us. That showed us what we are capable of. And maybe this will be kind of the same thing, This reinforces exactly what you're capable of and teaches you the lesson. And by the way, I think that a lot of, maybe they did, and I know I did, underestimated South Carolina. And if you went back and looked at it, this was a team that had the, an 8-point lead on Alabama with 5 minutes to go, and was even with Ole Miss into the fourth quarter. They were playing a lot better football, but it was easy to dismiss it.
By the way, my tweet was not at you. I didn't even think about you at all. I actually did not think of you at all.
Well, everybody else is saying, yeah, it is on you.
No, I mean, if the shoe fits, sure. But no, it wasn't about you. It was actually about Chris Phillips. It was about SEC Mike. It was about Aaron Torres. And everybody going all in. See, we told you A&M hadn't played anybody. And we told you that Marcel wasn't that good. And this and that and this and that. That's who my tweet was. Because I do believe we all have emotions during the game. I may not ever go back in the game thread again. I might be tapped out forever.
Wrong.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, why? I get nothing good out of it. All right? I love our subscribers. I'll keep posting content. But the overreaction to, and by the way, actually it wasn't an overreaction. Everybody was justified in their anger. Let me go ahead and say. But some of the things that people say, right? And jumping off a cliff, it is a 4-quarter game. Did I think they were going to win the game when they were down 30-3? No, I didn't think they were going to win. I thought there was a way. I did think that. I actually verbalized it to you guys. Here's how. But did I think it was going to go perfect? No. But that quarterback, that coach, has earned my patience. Let's see how it plays out.
Well, you said that quarterback. Let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
David, if you had a Heisman Trophy vote, what did that performance, how would it influence you? Because he did have, 2 interceptions and lost a fumble for a touchdown, and almost had 3 more interceptions that they could have had.
I'm going to say that it actually solidifies my vote for Marcel even more. I don't have a vote. But because when you are in a train wreck, right, most people after that point are going to be gun shy the rest of the way. He went in the halftime, said what he had to say, and he said, we're going to go out there to go win the game. And what do they freaking do? They went out there. And if we're going to give Fernando Mendoza, who, by the way, I think is phenomenal, right? I am Team Fernando Mendoza outside of Haynes King and Marcel Reed. Yeah, that's the only reason. Yeah, just because he's in my community. But Marcel's my vote if I have a vote. You have a vote. He's my vote. And I think this weekend puts it over the top for me.
I think it should. Now, I know there are detractors out there that are.
And that's fine.
And it's funny to me that I didn't see it myself, but I heard people talk about it on TexAgs that Heather Dinich made some kind of comment like, well, after saying that Indiana's come from behind victory, enhanced what they're about in terms of rankings. But A&M's come from behind victory just shows that they're vulnerable. I'm like, which is it? So taking that back to the Heisman, our man Mendoza did not play well, and I'm not trying to disparage him. I'm just trying to make comparisons. He did not play well for 58 minutes. I'm not saying he was a disaster, but he did not play well for 58 minutes in that game. He had run for a touchdown. I think I might be wrong. I think it was like 7 yards, and I think he had like 140 passing yards up until the 80-yard drive. Yeah. Well, Marcel was damn near perfect. He was damn near the perfect quarterback, and he was doing it with his arm and his legs in the second half. And he takes his team, the game-winning drive is 99 yards. So in every metric, in my mind, and I try to look at this objectively, and some will say I don't, but in my mind, Marcel wins that matchup in every metric.
I think he's done enough to get to New York.
Oh, without a doubt.
He's going. We're going.
Now it's a matter of where is he in the race? Look, he still has to play well. Now, I think they should let him pad his stats this week because, and I'll tell you why. I know they're playing Samford, and you're saying, get him out by halftime. That's okay. And you said, well, you're padding stats against a team like Samford, so what?
Mendoza?
Mendoza had 6 touchdowns against Indiana State, 5 passing and 1 rushing in a 73-0. And then Julian Sayin passed for 306 yards and 4 touchdowns against Grambling. All right, so if you're in a Heisman race and those numbers are going to count for them,
then why not?
Then
but people want to take away points because it happens at the end of the year.
Well,
sorry, the same amount of games, bro.
So do that, and then he's going to have to play well against Texas, and he's going to have to play well in the SEC championship game if they beat Texas. If he plays well, I think they beat Texas. So, but I think he's got a realistic shot now, a very realistic shot. And in my mind, he should be the leader, but I don't think he is.
If he goes to Austin and does what he did against LSU, he might win it.
I would like to see him take some of those chances to tuck it and run. But man, was he dealing?
He was dealing.
He threw for, what was it, 203 yards?
In the third quarter. Third quarter, yep. By the way, this is TexAgs Live.
This is TexAgs Live.
We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Yeah.
In the Rollo Insurance Studio. Jason Rollo texted me. He's like, I guarantee we win this game. I've got video evidence or digital evidence, I think is what he said that I said that. So,
wow.
Rollo's all in.
Okay.
All right? Talk about insurance. Have that guy on your side, right?
That's right.
This hour itself, we've labeled it a name. It is called the Go Hour.
The Go Hour.
Presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Mm-hmm. We are typically hanging out right over there at the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
But the Holistic Planning Cool Zone travels.
It does travel, like defense, right? Like physicality.
What about that 4th down stop, 4th and 1? Is that Tyler Onyedem and Damian Sanford?
Yeah.
Clutch.
Yep. Just like the Holistic Planning Cool Zone. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you can call us up on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline, 979-693-1150. Let's go around the room and say hi to the people, shall we?
Let's do.
All right, behind the glass is Nick Savage. Nick, good morning.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
How are you?
I'm good. My favorite, by the way, talking about the Heisman, Marcel Reed's currently the third, has the 3rd highest odds behind Fernando Mendoza and Julian Sayin per FanDuel. So take that what you will. But anyways, my favorite play of that game, and I was just talking about it with the guys back here, was, I believe, the second touchdown in the second half. It was a Nate Borkature touchdown.
That was the third one.
And third one. Or second, whatever it was. Either way, I love that play call. They fooled me because the way they lined up, I was like, okay, this just screams Marcel run, set him up with, second and short near the goal line. But no, the entire defense takes a bait. Borkature just sits down in the seam. It's perfect. Love that play call. And yeah, like you said, OB, offense pretty much played a perfect half minus the very last play they ran in the entire game.
Yeah, that was just that was just a very unfortunate bad decision.
Yeah.
But fortunately, it did not come back to haunt them.
Nate Borkature, sorry. It's not even a prisoner of the moment. It is just a prisoner of my thoughts. One of the greatest transfers in A&M football history. Sorry, I'm overreacting. Good, I want to.
Well, we've talked about it before.
Just what he means to this team.
Yeah,
man.
it's how expertly they assembled the team, and they found the quote diamonds in the rough,
the right pieces.
Nate Borkature is a guy who came here, had one career touchdown catch in 4 years at Nebraska. Wasn't much of a receiving threat, and they bring him in here, and look what he's become. Tyler Onyedem, Deion Hayes. We all knew, we were all excited about KC Concepcion and Mario Craver, and everybody wants those guys. But what they've done and what they did to find the guys that could just fit and make an impact is amazing. You should never not trust their
evaluation process.
Yeah.
We got to hurry up and get to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Ella Ryan, give me a football note. Give me a cross-country note, shall we?
Okay, I'll start with a cross-country note. Our women's cross-country team punched their ticket to the NCAA championship. This is the second time in program history they have won the regional tournament, and it's the first time since 2000. And overall, it's now the third time that the women's team has qualified for nationals.
All right.
And then, we'll talk.
You got a comment or anything from the people?
I got a comment. Yeah, they said we need to start talking more about Dalton Brooks. Best player on our defense. Convinced me otherwise.
Dalton Brooks has been fantastic. I would love for him to score on these plays. By the way, did Elba have a joke about that too, or no?
Look, you get into, they're setting you up.
Yeah.
Offense. You got to finish it.
Yeah, he was huge. He was huge. All right, let's hit a break. So this is a 1775 spot, but let me tell you, I didn't expect it to be the way it was. So we get to the press room in the press, what do you call it? The press area.
Box.
Yeah, press box. Sorry, I just learned English. On Saturday, and OB's like, I got lunch for you. Don't worry about it. What did you do?
Well, I had a pregame meal because 1775 dropped off some barbecue for us. Me and a couple of the interns went to 1775 on Friday, but I got there later than I typically do. By 12:30, it's so great and everybody knows about it. It was already sold out.
Yeah.
And, talked to Brad and Brandon, and they felt bad about it. And I said, I get it. I should have been here. You snooze, you lose, right?
Right.
And they said, well, we're coming out and serve at the TexAgs tailgate tomorrow. I said, hey, that's great. I won't be there. Well, why don't you? I explained that I do the pregame show, where we're going to be. And around right after we had started a pregame show, this young man comes in and says, I'm looking for Olin Buchanan. Here I am. Hey, this is from 1775. And it was a big tin full of brisket and ribs and sausage. And then they put a bunch of queso mac and cheese. And I brought it in, and the smell just permeated.
We took over, and everybody walked by. K ate with us.
Where'd you get that?
Yeah, and then at a
Scott come in and sit down with us.
College football great Alonzo Highsmith hung out with us and ate a little bit.
Yeah, he had some sausage, and it was just everybody was looking around like, where'd Joe get this? I want to get in the line for it. So, well,
you can have the press box hot dog, no thanks, or you can get the 1775.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and I didn't like when people went for seconds on the queso mac and cheese because I felt like that was our seconds.
Well,
I'm kidding.
We had some left over, right? And so I think Alex Miller and Brad Marcourt and some other people, sampled it to finish it up at the end of the, when I got finished writing it, when we were finishing our work that day.
They're open Thursday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until they're sold out
and
the other day.
And sold out by 12:30 if you're not careful.
979-492-6241. It is 1775txppq.com. Hey everyone, it's David and Olin from the Holistic Planning
Cool Zone.
You know, I like when we have the chairs here because I don't feel like I have to do this when we're talking about holistic planning. But they want you to know, TexAgs subscribers, they take care of the TexAgs subscribers.
Oh, absolutely. Take care of everybody.
They want to know that anybody who signs up by November 27, 2025 will receive this awesome offer. If the Aggies beat the Longhorns or win in Austin on November 28, 2025, clients will pay no management fees to Holistic Planning for the entire 2026 calendar year.
That's free.
It's free 99. Actually, just free.
All you got to do is beat Texas. Well, it's not if they beat Texas, it's when they beat Texas.
When. And when you go to holisticplanning.com, you're going to love Holistic Planning. So it is holisticplanning.com. Check out the website and take advantage of this awesome offer. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you can call us up. Bumpy's Catering Bartending Hotline, 979-693-1150. I want to hear the hypeness, all right? So I've seen the comments on YouTube page. I want to hear voices. I want to hear people tell me what they think about where this team is headed, maybe how they felt Saturday at halftime, what their real expressions were like, and then how they were celebrating afterwards. We go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Ross wants to talk a little Aggie football. Ross, welcome back to TexAgs. What's up, buddy?
Good morning, gentlemen. The two biggest things that came to mind was the 1986 Baylor game. I think I was only 4 years old, so didn't see it in person. I've seen the highlights. The Aggies got down 17-0 and ended up winning that game 31-30. It ended up being after A&M caught back up.
You know,
it ended up being a great back and forth game. You there?
Yeah, I just heard some random lady.
Well, that's okay. Whatever.
She can join us.
Whatever. You just roll with it. It's live.
She must have been from Baylor.
And then I was at the game in 1997 when A&M came down from 15 points back to beat Oklahoma State. So that was a fun game. But this was unlike anything else I've ever seen. Just keeping it cool. I called y'all after the Notre Dame game, and I said this was different. It still feels different. I'm not looking past Samford. I do believe the Aggies will beat Samford, but I'm not looking past them. And, past that, I believe A&M has a better team than Texas. Again, I don't think they'll beat them. I think they have a better team. And everyone is counting A&M out, and the national folks are anyway, and I say keep doing it. I do have one quick question. I don't mean to completely just get off the rails on this. I was listening to the Houston Sports 790 because they come on at 6 a.m., and they talked about the cop and what he did. But they also mentioned that the SID asked everyone not to talk to Mike Elko about his contract extension. In my mind, it's okay for them to ask that, but he was upset that they asked them, hey, don't ask the media members, don't ask them about it. In my mind, this is still America. You still have a right to free speech. They could have asked him, and I just wanted to hear from y'all since y'all were probably in that meeting. Did the SID really ask everyone not to ask Mike Elko about the contract? It doesn't matter to me. Again, everyone knew about it, but I just wanted to ask y'all. Thanks a bunch. Take care.
Thank you. I wasn't in there.
She did.
But my whole thing is they probably didn't want to take away from the moment, right? And that's a completely different story.
Well, she did put it this way. We asked you not to. Now, if someone like me would have said, yeah, well, I'm going to ask it anyway, all Elko had to do was say, look, I don't want to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about the game.
Yep.
And I'd understand that. So, but I do think that to his point, there is freedom of press in this country. And I do think typically it's a bad look to start, trying to influence what the media asks. I don't like that they decide who you interview. But I think you'll always find a cooperative media, not necessarily home. Not necessarily.
We're a guest in their house, man. So I'm like, what?
I don't know. I look at it that way. I mean, State University. So
yeah, sure. But I'm just saying, I'm not here to ruffle feathers. If they don't want to talk about it right now on a report that was out that they hadn't announced yet, I didn't have a problem with that. I would also have not a problem with somebody asking.
I didn't have a problem with it because, quite frankly, I wanted to talk about this amazing game. Now, maybe had A&M won it something like 48-0, and you knew that, then maybe that's a completely different deal. But after a game like that, I want them to be talking about the game.
Let's try to hear from Gary here on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Gary, good morning. Welcome to TexAgs.
Hey, howdy, guys.
Howdy.
I wanted to share. I was actually at that Baylor game that gentleman just talked about. It was pouring down rain. I'll never forget it. But let's talk about Saturday. We were a little despondent in that first half. My son was with me. He was being a little crushed, but I never gave up. And I tell you, the fans never gave up. No one left. And what no one's talking about is in that third quarter, it looked really bleak. I think it was a 4th and 12. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, we've already talked about it.
On that quarterback. Man, that was the game right there, guys. That was it.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I mean, that kept them going. I mean, they still had a
long way to go.
do.
Yeah.
But again, we talked about the intestinal fortitude of Mike Elko to go for it on 4th and 12, and then just the just the insane ability of Marcel Reed to scramble and make two guys miss so he could pick up that first down.
We are way late for a break, but I do want to read this text. Elle, I should let you read it. Can you read the one from John in Cyprus? Not the most recent one, the one right before.
Okay, yeah. It says, before OB leaves, you have to get him to admit he was thinking what I was thinking at halftime. Cameron Smith was dead on about the Marcel BS.
We both were thinking it.
Yeah, I actually mentioned it. I said, I guess I'm going to have to tweet out that Cameron Smith is a redneck savant.
Said OB needs to do a Cam voice.
Okay. What was the thing he kept saying? It was a field day. Marcel Reed had a field day in that second half. He had a field day. He didn't get panicked. He don't get panicked. He had a field day.
He called a lot of it. He called interceptions. He called sacks in the first.
But he said
he called Will Lee.
But he also said that Marcel Reed gets panicked.
Yeah.
And I saw a very poised Marcel Reed. Now, he didn't play well in the first half. I don't think it's because he was panicking. I think he just wasn't playing well. I saw a composed, poised Marcel Reed leading just this tremendous comeback.
All right, we're so late for a break. My apologies to Riley and Emily, who's doing a great job answering the phones. Right now, we're going to go to talk Duck Camp here on TexAgs Live. Mid-season, actually more than mid-season. Weather's kind of cooling off. It was a little bit humid this morning. But if your day looks like a normal Texas day, then you need some Duck Camp. The essential hoodie. OB's got that. The lightweight brush shirt, overshirt. I don't know if you have that one. You might.
I got a lightweight kind of jacket that they sent me.
Brush pants?
I don't have those. No,
I would like to see you wear brush pants. That'd be my goal. And you can check it all out at duckcamp.com. I have all the gear as well. I love wearing my hoodie. I need multiple of the same color so I can do the workout stuff in one and then go to the restaurant in the other. But I have it all. They're awesome. And you can check it out at duckcamp.com where you can get 25% off of your order when you use the code TexAgs25. Duckcamp.com, built for the outdoors, designed for everything else. Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever. And also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group. And they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports. And they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no-pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs. And remember, gig 'em. We are back. It is TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. The Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline has been popping, if you will. People want to talk, so we're going to listen to them. Dr. Chad, our good buddy, Dr. Chad, here on TexAgs Live. You find him from time to time on the Fan Show. What's up, Dr. Chad?
Hey, man, great to hear you guys. OB, David, good job on the show this morning. I got 2 questions. I'll take the answers off the air. But my first comment is, David, I'm with you. I'm a big believer in sticking with the team. It's bad when you put out some bad stuff on Twitter or out there because the team's going to see it. But, I just think Elko is the coach of the year. He's the lock. He's the second-half adjustment king. I, too, made a second-half adjustment. I had a daughter this week, and in the at halftime, I changed her outfit to a maroon outfit, to a little onesie, and we won, so I'm going to give credit to her. And then my second question is, my only question. I think I saw Luke Evangelist on the field after that Berkshire tight end touchdown. Is that true? I'll take the answer off the air. Thank you, guys.
Dr. Chad, he's telling us exactly. He must be in the middle of a class right now. They're like in the middle of an exam, and he walks out to do this phone call real quick and get back in. Congratulations on your daughter. I saw the photos. I'm so happy for you, Dr. Chad. I don't know if Luke was on the field.
I don't either.
I think he was probably...
No, Luke was here in the office.
Yeah, he was probably a little depressed about the basketball game. I don't think he left the office.
Huh. I wonder who they thought that was. I wonder who it was that they thought was Luke.
God, there's another...
I saw Schoonover on the big screen. They put him on the big screen near the end.
That guy gets on camera more than any person that's ever worked.
I know, he's a student. He thinks he's too big time to sit in the student section, so whatever.
And as far as, look... I tweeted some things out at halftime. I thought that Marcel's Heisman campaign
was over.
Yeah. I mean,
it was definitely trending in that direction.
Usually you can't overcome that first half, but then and I think he enhanced it. And I think the Aggies just looked like they were not ready to play football.
Part of the reason I don't tweet a lot during games, I don't tweet a lot. I hate social media, and I even hate it more now. But this season's been fun. Part of the reason I don't is the way the algorithm works. You look like a freaking buffoon sometimes because you'll say, there's, Marcel Reed, that's having the worst game of his life, let's just say, right? And then it pops up in the middle of the fourth quarter where they win the game, and then people see it like, what are you talking about, weirdo?
He had the worst, probably half of his career.
And maybe the best.
And then the best half of his career.
Yeah. Let's go to Brandon on the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Brandon, welcome to TexAgs. Yes, sir. What's up, man? Thanks for joining us. Oh, what's up, Biglo? Good, man. I think you're coming with your son to the game this weekend, right?
Talk to Elko, because if you look at our season, if you just watch the first half of every game, we play average or maybe even a little bit below average generally in the first half. Second half, we're great to elite. So my question to them would be basically, what are we doing to try to improve the starts of games? Now, a lot of times that's been because we're playing teams where they're changing coordinators or changing coaches. Like this last week, they had a new offensive coordinator. They had a week to prepare. They had a script that was a little bit different. So you had to kind of let them run their offense, kind of see what they were doing and adjust. And once they ran out of bullets, they couldn't really do anything. So my whole thought is, if we can just get to being average to even a little bit above average in the first half, when we get to the playoffs, I don't see a team that can handle us. And I'll hang up and listen.
Thanks, Big Love.
A&M is outscoring its SEC opponents 151-62 in the second half. And some of those touchdowns are coming late that the opponent scored, like Arkansas with 10 seconds and LSU with 59 seconds. So that just goes to show how they are dominating the second half. I think it's hard to come out and this. Well, I don't want to say this.
I mean, we've kind of asked Elko in the past a little bit. He's like, you're filling each other out in the beginning.
And a lot of times an inferior team can play. A lot of times an inferior team is inferior because they're not quite as big or they're not quite as deep, and that depth and having somebody lean on you that's bigger than you over the course of time takes a toll. And then, quite frankly, teams can play on emotion for a half very often. That's why you'll see a lot of times you'll see good teams, even against lesser conference teams, will it'll be somewhat competitive for a half, but not every team turns it on the way A&M does in the second half. I was looking at that this morning. That's why I had that number ready.
Yeah, you had it ready to go. Let's hit a break. We'll come back. Let's talk a little Shane Beamer on the other side, shall we?
Okay.
My good friend Shane Beamer. Right now, we're talking Rollo Insurance Group. If you're a business owner, you need to reach out to the good folks at Rollo Insurance. Your commercial insurance needs to have deserve specialized attention. By the way, I mentioned at the top of the show, Jason Rollo texted me, like, hey, I never lost faith. Like the fans, by the way, over 108,000, whatever it was, 108,000 folks didn't leave. You felt that energy. Jason's like, we're going to come back and win. And he always wins with his insurance products here at Rollo Insurance. Every business faces unique risks, from industry-specific liabilities to location-based hazards. And Rollo business specialists take the time to understand what your operation-specific vulnerabilities are and what your growth plan is. As your business evolves, your Rollo agent becomes a valuable resource for your risk management and beyond. Find your dedicated business insurance partner at rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. That's rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. Call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. It's Rollo Insurance. Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Obi, I think we got this is all fan bases, by the way, but there seems to be a group of fans, some on the text line, some on YouTube, not really on YouTube, some on TexAgs.com, and I think this is all fan bases, don't get me wrong, but they only want to comment when it's negative. Only. There's like, When Durong on the TexAgs premium board or premium chat, he said he got a 3-day ban. But I've seen the highs and lows from him. Okay, he'll say something good and he'll say something bad, right? That's kind of like, I think, a normal fan, right? Like, I can't believe we're going to lose this game by 30, or we're going to win by 30, right? But when you only comment negativity and never anything about being 10-0 and never anything good about getting your coach, like that is, you don't know how to enjoy a moment. You just, or just maybe you're conditioned just to love to lose. Like, for instance, John in San Antonio, who has never texted the show anything positive ever in his life, at halftime, texted us a picture of the championship trophy like like an LOL, like, right? What ended up happening after the halftime?
Well, they won.
They won. Huh. You know who was celebrating like he won a championship at halftime was?
Shane Beamer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last week I was trying to verbalize and struggling through why I was not a fan of Shane Beamer. And I think he just has too much high school antics. I remember when I was young in my career hearing Tom Landry, Dallas Cowboys coach, asked why he was so stoic on the sideline. He said, I don't ever want my team to see me panic or look panic because your team will take on your emotion.
Yes.
And it looked to me that Shane Beamer thought the game was over at halftime. Now, he said afterwards, no one thought that way.
He has to say
He's
that.
walking out celebrating like the game's over. You said he was doing the YMCA.
He was doing the YMCA. You watch his arms flapping like what? He was just doing the Y, though.
And then...
but I ask you, why did you lose?
And then he didn't CYA in the second half. So, I think that his team took that from him. And I don't want to say A&M won because those guys let down. A&M came out and took it. You know, people are saying that South Carolina choked. South Carolina did not choke. South Carolina got strangled. They got suffocated by that Aggie conda.
The Aggie conda that seems to show up a lot in the second half of games, especially in the fourth quarter of games, right? And look,
you got to do the turning point.
You know what? The turning point to me is the 4th and 12.
4th and 12.
Like, if you don't get that, you're not going to come back and win.
I agree with you. And look at all the places where Marcel turned and pointed on that. You know, he's going one direction, up, turn another direction, up, no, turn another direction. Next thing you know, he's got 16 yards. And 2 plays later, there's a touchdown. What about Ashton Bethel Roman turning that pass into a 76-yard gain?
And after dropping a couple of balls early,
Coming back.
Coming right back, yeah. Look, this team is something special. And one last thing on Beamer. I am as petty as they come. I looked for him post-game. I did. I just wanted to follow him out.
Did you see his post-game, the video?
I thought it was pretty cool in the post-game press conference.
I thought the way it opened up. I mean, I thought he was...
Oh, did he walk out to cry?
I thought he was about to emotionally break down, and then he left, and he came back. It was like he had to go outside to compose himself. At least that's the way it looked. Maybe there was
Maybe somebody called him over, like, hey, buddy, let's chit-chat. Yeah.
But it just looked to me like he had to get up and go outside to compose himself.
Oh, and by the way...
After his team decomposed in the second half.
Georgia seems like they figured out who they are.
Or they figured out who Texas is.
Well, they've definitely figured that out.
They've got Texas's number, don't they?
Now Oklahoma is.
I got that one right.
Yeah, you did. One. Yeah, Oklahoma looking pretty darn good. Will we get 5 SEC teams in the playoffs? It's looking like that way.
Good chance.
Yeah. Opie, thank you, buddy.
I don't care. I only care about one of them.
Yeah, I hope that team plays the entire way until they can't win a national championship. All right, we're going to hit a break here. When we come back on TexAgs Live, Marty Smith of ESPN will join us. We'll chit-chat about what happened with A&M and the rest of the SEC. Billy Liucci and Taylor McGregor is going to join us at 10 a.m. She was the sideline reporter at the game. And then at 10:35, Bucky McMillan talking a little Bucky ball, that and more. You're listening to the TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We are back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's talk a little SEC football and Aggie football, you name it, with Marty Smith, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors for the most festive gear of the year, and that is back at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Don't miss the limited edition Magellan Outdoor Christmas Market Collection only at Academy. Exclusive 2025 gear and gifts for all of your holiday parties. Fun family photos and Christmas morning traditions. Check out the entire collection from matching PJs and holiday print fishing shirts and dresses to exclusive new Mossy Oak Snowdrift camo styles and more. Shop in store at academy.com. And if you need it fast, same-day delivery powered by DoorDash. Let your holiday fun begin with the Magellan Outdoor Christmas Market Collection only at Academy. With that, we go to the Bucky's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Yeah, it is a read, Marty Smith. What's up, buddy?
The man is unflappable. I mean, that's like a 7,000-word read for Academy Sports and Outdoors, and nary a stumble. But I'll tell you this, our great friends at Academy sent me their Christmas box, and it had this ugly Christmas sweater in it. It's like a 10-point buck with some jingle bells and bows and stuff on it. And I thought it was for me, and I put it on, and it was way too young, dude. It was actually for Laney.
Well, I think I have one coming in the mail, too. Billy got his the other day. I may have to wear it on the show. Hey, so as you're watching what's happening develop in Kyle Field, all right, first half, second half, right? You're at your game. You're seeing the box score, maybe some highlights pop up. Kind of take me through what you were thinking when it's happening and then, well, when they're getting blown out and then the comeback.
No, we watched it. Mouths agape, shock and awe, but tempered with, McGee, Ryan McGee, my co-host on Marty and McGee, had said, wouldn't it be the most A&M thing ever to lose this game? And as we're watching the game, we're kind of texting back and forth going, what in the hell is going on here? Because A&M was just so much better, personnel-wise, what they've done, their body of work, obviously. But it was a boat race. And, you're down 4 scores at halftime. How many times this morning have you already said the 286 stat?
Couple times.
10 times already?
Yeah.
So you look at history, and this thing's a wrap. And then to learn, to see the confidence that Reed came out with. He was throwing the ball with great authority to start the second half. They're moving the football. Guys are making plays. There's obviously defensive adjustments that were made. And they're not just chipping away, man. They're it's chunks. And so I don't know that I thought they would come all the way back, but it's just such a confidence builder, because now in that locker room, when your home field is deadly quiet and you come all the way back, I would imagine that for Mike Elko and his group, the runway that victory has is so beneficial, because you can do it.
Do you think, though, it exposed some of the issues that A&M has, giving up the big plays, missing some field goals, or it really, it did expose that, but it also showed that this team's resolve is second to none?
Well, he said it in post-game. I think that the human condition is there's a tendency to start feeling yourself. I don't care how much you're told by your coaching staff. I don't care how much you try to have that personal conviction, or you have tenured leaders like York and that group telling you we haven't done anything, it's all still in front of us. That's still the tendency. And until you get punched in the face, it's hard to be crystallized, and they got punched in the face. So is your culture such that you punch back, or is your culture such that you go in the corner and wilt? And the culture was proven, and Elko basically said that in his post game, that they took that punch and that they continued to play to win. I think that 4th and 12 play will go down forever because you could have settled and punted the football away and prayed, or you can say, we're getting our asses kicked. We have to do something rash here and make a football play. And that flipped the whole thing.
Marty, I want to go back to that for a second, because if you think about that 4th and 12, then later on a 4th and 2, and then last week the fake punt against Missouri when it seemed like they were starting to get some momentum. The stones on Mike Elko, man, like he is not scared to make a call that he thinks is going to change the way the game is being played.
Well, this sport right now is so fickle and so fleeting when you know you got the dudes and you know you have the opportunity to create a very special season, an historic season, and you have to prove every single day that you're that guy and you're that group. You can take these chances. You believe in your guys. You believe in your scheme. You believe in your coordinators. You believe in what's built, and you go do it. And if it fails, it fails. If it fails, you stand up and say, that's on me. If it works, you laud your guys and your coordinators. That's what leaders do. You take all the criticism, you and the quarterback, because you're the quarterback, which Marcel has experienced at times this year. But then he goes and makes the plays, and who gets the credit? The coach and the quarterback. And look, man, I see a moment where Coach Elko sees that he has every element necessary to win a national title. And so you have to go and be willing to let your guys go do it, even when it's hard, and be willing to take the criticism if it doesn't work. But for him, it's been charmed. It's worked a lot.
Marty, you think Marcel's done enough to get to New York?
I do. I think he's done enough, and obviously you guys being undefeated plays into that equation. But his statistics are fantastic. His leadership is obvious, and he is electric. And it's a year or two, and this is I'm not trying to dilute what he's done, but there is no clear-cut guy this year. And so that helps as well. In my estimation, yes, he could certainly be among those 4.
And then Elko getting the extension, I was not worried that he was going to leave for Penn State, but it is nice to have that kind of out, right? We don't have to worry about it. He's going to be paid as one of the top coaches in college football. Billy said yesterday on the show that he's got an escalator clause, I think, that every time he makes the playoffs, he gets an extra year added to his contract. I think that's a win-win for everybody involved.
Yeah, especially there, with the resources you guys have and the disappointment you've experienced in recent years, to have a guy that is producing against elite opponents and accruing elite talent and winning, you got to keep him, whatever it takes. And it is great for you guys that he made that decision and that it's done.
Let's talk about Georgia, because for a few weeks, everyone was like, yeah, they're Georgia, but are they really Georgia? And then what we've seen the last 2 weeks is, yeah, they're starting to find themselves at the end of the season peaking the way Kirby Smart wants them to.
Never worried about them defensively. Offensively, for the entire season up until Mississippi State last week, to your point, they had been so sluggish offensively in the first half, but they were always, other than Alabama, able to close and win in the second half. Now it seems like Mike Bobo has figured out how to put Gunnar Stockton in the best position to score points early. And Gunnar, you can just feel his confidence, man. You can see that he has great command of that offense. All of those skill players, whether that's Lucky, whether that's Delp, whoever that is, the running game is much better with Nate Frazier and that group in the backfield. Offensive line playing well, so they really got it humming. And, having Gunnar Stockton, especially in this moment where Georgia looked in the portal for quarterbacks last year, despite the fact that they knew he was good. And ultimately, all he's done is start to, I would say, really concrete his legend as a kid from Rabun County who would die for the G. And in this iteration of college football, to have a kid that would die for the logo, it's a very rare thing. So if I'm a Dog fan, I am feeling very good right now.
And then on the flip side, you got Texas, who, I mean, this is, to me, it's an SEC game, right? Like where it's close and then it's not, right? That happens so often in these games. South Carolina's felt it before. Like A&M did it to Florida. It was a close game. They did it to Mississippi State. And that's exactly what happened against Texas and Georgia, where Georgia just found a way in the fourth quarter to step on their throats.
Yep, and that's, again, that goes back to Georgia's DNA, too. I think Texas is a really good team, man. I do. They have so much talent. It depends on kind of what defense shows up in any given moment because they have so many great players. Georgia was just better on that night. Of course, being in Athens, all of the reasons I just stated for how proficient they've become and consistently proficient they've become offensively. But look, I'm sure it's DEF CON in Austin, but as a guy who's not in that and is looking at it from 30,000 feet, I still think they're a really good football team. They're just in a damn hard conference.
Marty, let's look at OU, a team that Texas did beat. What they've done the last couple of weeks, and considering how they navigated this schedule, beating Bama in back-to-back years, and really, last year ending Bama's playoff hopes, and this year putting them on the ropes.
Yeah, they're like Brent Venables is just so smart, David. He's just such a brilliant mind. And I was at Alabama last Thursday for a feature that I'm doing for Thanksgiving weekend, next weekend. And I also interviewed 4 or 5 Alabama players and Kalen DeBoer about the Oklahoma game. And what Brent Venables does so brilliantly is he's so good at eye candy. He'll give you a look where it looks like 7 guys are going to come and 4 of them then drop into coverage, or vice versa. It looks like it's going to be a coverage look and they pin their ears back and come get you. And it gets so confusing and so chaotic. It's very hard to navigate, not just for the quarterback, but for the line and the backs too. And he's a genius at it and has been for 20 years. And so I think I wonder what if Mateer didn't get hurt. That's what I wonder.
It would have changed that. Look, I know he played in the Texas game, but he was not himself in that game, Marty. So
yeah, dude, but you saw it. He was holding that thumb the entire game, got blood all over his pants. He was gutting that out. And in a moment where, that was an intricate surgery he had. So as you're taking those shots on that hand, because he's a runner, an adept, very talented runner, how does that affect your grip on the football? So you can tell he's a little healthier now, in my estimation.
And now for Bama, their wiggle room is tight. They've got obviously their rivalry game, the Iron Bowl, when they take on Auburn, they've got to take care of business there. But when you think about the way their season started, the way they navigated through the entire thing, and now where they are, how do you see Bama's rest of the season playing out?
So I think so much of it depends on the chessboard, man. Does everybody close the way they're expected to close? Does Georgia Tech go in and beat Georgia? There's all of these what ifs still out there. So to me, it's impossible to prognosticate all that. From a talent standpoint, I think Bama's a playoff team. But talent don't always get you there, dude. So, I could sit here and bloviate all day, but that doesn't, who knows right now? I don't.
Last thing for you, Marty. This year with so many openings in coaching, right? And knowing what the portal is and the way the playoffs are, and Lane, if he's going to stay at Ole Miss or if he's going to go elsewhere, and all this and that, do you think the timing of the way the portal is set up and the timing of everything is going to, because they went back to the one window now, right? So is it going to change again based on what we're seeing now?
is what going to change again? The portal itself? Or
Yeah, the window of it.
Landscape or all the above?
All the above.
Yeah, the coaching landscape right now is so intriguing to me because there's so many great jobs open. And you just start to look at it and go, who's going to take them all? Who's going to get them all? Are we just going to take Billy Napier from here and put him there, James Franklin from here and put him there, et cetera, et cetera? Maybe. Are some really talented coordinators, Will Stein, Ben Arbuckle, whomever, are they going to get an opportunity or not? I don't know. But the more openings there are, and I don't know if we're done yet, there's still a couple out there that I think we could see. I don't know, man. Like, if I'm a team that has had a tenured coach who's done a good job, but it's just not been our year, I think you're more apt at this point to keep them because, again, it's so diluted and you're now in competition against some of the biggest brands in college football. So it's chaos, man. And what's it going to look like? What players are going to leave? A lot of players are going to be switching around for more money. So I don't know, man.
That's where
I say it all the time, dude. It's a mess in a lot of ways. Like what we're looking at in college sports, period, with the portal, with completely unregulated free agency, with all the money that's involved. We can complain all day long, but the games are so good. The games on Saturday afternoon are so fun to watch. So, I almost used an old Appalachian colloquialism that's inappropriate for your show, but we could complain about it all day, but the games are fun, man.
Yeah, they are, Marty. Thanks so much for joining us, man. Have a great day.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Talk to you soon. Marty Smith there on the Bubby's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Always fantastic conversation with him. And somebody sent in this message. I'm just going to chew on it for a second. Let's see if I can find it. It was from Peyton asking, Marty and David, do you think, and Nick, join me for this, do you think if Vandy runs the table, they should be in the college football playoffs over a 2-loss Notre Dame? Should? Yes. Will? No. So again, there's so many different scenarios, Nick, out there. I think in theory, a 10-2 SEC football team should be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
In theory, but
the
spots,
there could be multiple 10-2. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like I know Billy went through it yesterday on Luchador, but you've got. Is this the with the playoffs?
This is the current projection. Obviously, this will change tomorrow night, but this is what it was going into this week's games.
So Oklahoma takes over that Texas spot, right? In this world, Ole Miss will slide into Bama's spot, I think, right?
No, you'd think Georgia would move.
Georgia. Yeah, you're right. Georgia would move into Bama's spot. I think Ole Miss being at 7th, I still think is kind of a crime for a team that's going to finish 11-1. But
they'll probably move up to 6, Tech up to 5. Maybe Vandy is the one.
I don't think Tech should be above Ole Miss.
I agree. I would agree.
I don't. I just don't.
Yep.
Maybe before the season I would have thought so because I didn't think Ole Miss would be having the season that they're having. And
I don't think you can put a Big 12 team in front of a Big 10 or SEC team at the moment.
But as of right now, and Miami is in the mix, but they are behind Notre Dame, who they did beat. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't see right now Vandy getting in. But there's still a lot of football left. Like Bama's got to beat Auburn. Oklahoma's still got 2 games that I think are question marks, right? So there's going to be a little bit more movement. We don't know the finale yet. We'll hit a break. I think we'll have Billy on the other side. We'll chit-chat with Billy about all these things, talk more about what happened on Saturday. If your business or organization is looking for an opportunity to engage with Aggies, check out the Association of Former Students. They bring Aggies of all ages together during their marquee events held throughout the year. We're talking Aggie Ring Day, All Aggie Hullabaloo, The Gathering. They all welcome tens of thousands of guests, and there are many sponsorship and vendor opportunities to get your brand in front of those attendees. And they offer a wide variety of both digital and in-person options to promote your brand. And this includes title sponsorship, naming, on-site presence, activation, and recognition in social media posts, and much, much more. There's also advertising opportunities in both the Texas Aggie Magazine and the Aggie News newsletter, which are seen by over 230,000 people. So if your business is ready to engage with Aggies, choose a partner that's been with the organization supporting the Aggie Network for the last 140 years. For more information on options available through the association, please email sponsorships@aggienetwork.com. It is the Association of Former Students. Let's talk a little Snaps clothing. David Nuño here, and I love wearing Snaps clothing everywhere. I've got the flannel on right now. You've seen me in the Tailgater collection with the A&M gear. It is fantastic. If you see me around town with my sons, Christian and Cruz, they've got a bunch of Snaps gear. When they have big games for Consol, they wear nice clothes, so they wear their Snap stuff. And I'm telling you, with baseball season here, let's all kind of go looking stylish and fit to the games there at Olsen wearing the Snaps clothing. As a reminder, they are the only official licensed Texas A&M Pearl Snaps maker out there. Their Tailgater collection is built for game day with breathable, moisture-wicking fabrics to keep you comfortable while you rep your Aggies in style. Now, whether you're watching the game from home or maybe you're in attendance, you're tailgating, whatever it may be, you got to make sure you head to snapsclothing.com to see everything they have to offer. It is fashionable, it is awesome, and you're going to love it. We are back. It is TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Should be joined by Billy Liucci at some point. I don't know if he's the one on the phone line or not, but regardless, we'll chit-chat with him at some point on the Bucky's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Let's go to the hotline right now and talk to Dennis, who wants to talk a little Aggie football. Dennis, welcome to TexAgs. What's up, buddy?
Hey, I just wanted to make a comment about all the controversy on the officer and the players from the other night coming down that tunnel.
Yes, sir.
If people will look at the situation, there's a trash can in that aisle. There's 3 players walking down. The player on the left side has to move over to go around that trash can. At the same time, the 2 other players are walking shoulder to shoulder. They've got enough room. They're not paying attention to the officer. The officer's trying to come between the 2, but the player on the left tries to go around that trash can and bumps into or moves the other player over and makes it a tight squeeze. And the officer probably saw it as a sign of disrespect, and I can understand his point of view, but the players really didn't know what was going on. If you'll look at that situation from the very beginning, where that trash can is and this player moving over, you'll see the whole thing. Nobody's at fault. I can understand the officer getting upset because he sees it as probably a sign of disrespect because they didn't give him room to walk through. But the trash can's a whole problem. And nobody's at fault. The players weren't doing anything intentional. The officer just felt like he was being disrespected, but he didn't realize the trash can, the other player moved over and bumped that player into him. So they're making a big deal out of nothing, in my opinion.
Dennis, thank you, buddy. Agree to disagree. I don't like to comment too much until, I don't know if there's going to be an investigation of this, of Bumpgate, right? I don't know. I know that when I walk down and the team or the act, if you go pay for an event or you go covering an event or you're working an event and the main stars, not saying that South Carolina is the main star in this story, but you know what I mean, are walking, I kind of get out of the way, right? So I don't know. I don't want to speak for anybody. They removed him because it was a bad look. If they need to do an investigation, we find out more about it, and the troopers send out a press release saying, hey, he didn't see this, he thought that, whatever. I don't know. I don't think we need to Zapruder film it. Wanted a good look, and they acted accordingly. We go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Ella, tell me something.
Yeah, I got a question. Would you rather, actually?
Would I rather?
Would you rather make the college football playoff with a bye week or play in the SEC championship, potentially lose, and then not get the bye and have to play all rounds?
I want to go to the SEC championship game. I really want to.
Okay.
I do. Because if you give me a chance to win an SEC championship, in the worst case scenarios, I host a playoff game at Kyle Field, place would be bananas, right? And last year's national champion did not have a bye. So there is that.
And then this is something that we haven't really talked about yet, but the ABR 76-yard catch where he said he ran the wrong route. Getting some mixed opinions on that. Some people saying it was good because it ended up allowing him to get the 60 yards. But then on the premium line, they said, why are we acknowledging the sensation who ran the wrong route and has a 50% catch rate?
Who said that?
So Coach Rick on the premium chat.
Coach Rick, because it was one of the biggest plays of the game. That's why. Okay, so under that thinking, Coach Rick, should we not acknowledge Marcel Reed, who had a terrible first half, who had 3 turnovers? I think I understand what you're saying, but it was one of the bigger plays of the game. That's kind of asinine to think that we're not the coaching staff, right? So the coaching staff would be like, dude, you got to run the right route next time. But way to go. You made something out of something, right?
Yeah.
But the play was one of the most important plays of the game. And the dude had over 100 yards. What do you have, 130 yards receiving? So, no. I mean, I'm gonna give Ashton Bethel-Roman all his prop that he deserves. I'm looking at his exact stats. 139 yards receiving, a touchdown. Sorry. Yeah, he had a couple bad drops. So did Casey Concepcion, who had one in the end zone. No, can't give Casey his props. Got to take him out. I'm not trying to be confrontational or rude, Coach. What is it, Coach Rick?
Coach Rick.
I just disagree. But you're a coach, right? So as a coach, you see things through a different lens. So whatever. I No, Ashton Bethel, you don't win that game without his diving touchdown.
Sick.
You might not win that game without his 76-yard reception that he got hurt on and set you up, right? So no, I'm 1,000% going to give all the roses to Ashton Bethel Roman that he deserves. Let's get another one in before we hit a break.
Yeah, this is just some stats about wide receivers, but it's saying receptions and receiving yards. Casey, 47 receptions, 787 yards. Mario, 47, 781 yards. And then that's hard to defend before even adding ABR.
So what was the first part of the statement? I'm sorry?
It's just reception and receiving yards.
Oh, yeah. Look, the difference between A&M's... Remember, A&M's offense last year scored enough points to win games, but they were not an explosive offense. They couldn't get separation. Oh, by the way, Nick, have you seen what our boy Noah Thomas has done for Georgia recently?
Yeah, he had his best game of the year this Saturday, and I think he caught a touchdown the game prior as well, right?
I believe, and you can fact check me here, Ella, he's got 4 touchdowns in his last 3 games after having like a couple of catches in the first 7 games, something to that effect. But I believe he's got 4 touchdowns in his last 3 games. Can you fact check me on that? Do you have his game log? Because I'm pretty sure I'm right. Because I'm always right when I speak, unless I'm wrong, and then I don't speak.
He had, in the past 2 games, he had 3 touchdowns. He had 1 against Mississippi State.
And then the game prior to that?
Wait, yeah, 4, yeah.
4 in the last 3 games. See? The more you know. All right, we'll hit a break. I think we'll have Billy on the other side. All right, we'll chit-chat with Billy. Right now, we're talking Milliken Reserve. Let's talk about the neighborhoods there. Sometimes I tell you about the activities you can do outdoors there. You should know those by now, but let's talk about the neighborhoods. You've got neighborhoods at Milliken Reserve that are nothing like your typical subdivisions. They're based entirely on Brazos Valley landscape and heritage, closely linked to the land with deep Texas roots and no place like Milliken Reserve. You've got the creek, homes on 10-plus acre wooded estates throughout a thoughtful expression of their owner's vision. You've got the Hollow, homes in a private and gated village community directly by the nature trails and the meadows that are responsive to their natural surroundings, following the lead of early local Texas agriculture. So what you need to do is check out the website for Milliken Reserve, millikenreserve.com. It is rooted in Texas soil. If that sounds like the place for you, check it out at millikenreserve.com. That is millikenreserve.com. All right, we're going to catch up with Billy eventually. He's got a couple things he's working on, so we'll catch up with him momentarily. Right now, though, let's open up the phone lines and the text lines and just chit-chat because, like, I've heard a call about the incident in the tunnel. I've heard about Beamer. I want emotions. I want to know what people were thinking and what they're thinking now. And are you now more, like, all in, like this team is destined for greatness because of what we saw? Or are you like, yeah, I want to believe, I do, but, like, I don't know. Look, let's kind of for a moment discuss what could potentially hold them back from winning a national championship. And then from there, we can discuss why I think they can, why this team has positioned themselves well for a national championship. So if you want to be a part of that conversation, again, you can call us on the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline, 979-693-1150. That is our phone number. So if we talk about why this team, like why you would struggle with it, right? Let's talk about it. What would be the biggest issues on what would hold this team back from winning a national championship? Because that's now the conversation we are allowed to have. We're allowed to have the conversation, can this team win a national championship? And here are the things that will hold you back. Field goals, giving up big plays. What else? What else? Like, because, I mean, there's the obvious ones for any team. An injury situation here, like, I'm not talking about, I'm saying, like, the way this team is currently constructed, what are reasons that you would feel like they cannot win a national championship? And I'll give you 3 reasons that would make me, at least as a coach, like, all right, we've got to fix these things or we won't. Big plays, special teams like kicking field goals, making those, and sometimes dumb penalties. Nick, do you agree or disagree?
I do agree. I would say, just to get even more specific, limiting the big plays at the start of the game. It feels like the defense kind of always starts a little bit slow, and those big plays tend to come at the beginning of the game. So I would nail it down to that.
And I'll do an extension to that, how you finish halves. How many times have we seen this team at the end of a half look like whatever word you want to insert there? I mean, which ones can we go with? Like, we can just go all over the place. Arkansas, LSU, the most recent example. I mean, you give up 10 points in the last 50-something seconds because you're trying to make something happen, which I appreciate it because you were losing 20-3. It'd be better to go into the half down 20-10 and then maybe score a touchdown, and now you're down. So, like, I recognize all that. So there is that, all right? And the reasons I think this team can win, I think we know it, especially when healthy. Their ability to control the line of scrimmage in the fourth quarter on both sides of the ball. You know how many sacks that they had in the first half, Ella? No, don't even look at it. I know the answer. How many do you think they had?
0.
Yeah. You know how many they had in the second half?
4.
4. You know when they happened?
All the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Right? This team in the fourth quarter has been fantastic. We'll continue down that line here in a moment. We go to the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Cody wants to talk a little 3rd and 1. Cody, what's up, man? Hello, Cody.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Cody, what's up, buddy?
Hey, bud. Hey, I just wanted to comment, some of the things that will keep us from winning a national championship is being cutesy on the goal line. You have to have situational awareness in that situation. A field goal makes them have to score a touchdown to win the game. Take the points. If we get stopped, we get stopped. That's the kind of stuff that will keep you out of a championship game.
But let me ask you this. In 10 games this season, have you seen them make that kind of mistake before, like that kind of play call?
No, I haven't. But because you've done it now, you just got to. It's situational awareness, right?
Yep.
We haven't been in that kind of situation before. I appreciate Elko owning the play call, saying, "Hey, that's on me. I approved it." I think there's a time and a place for it, and in those situations, you need to be aware that a field goal extends this to a touchdown game versus a field goal wins it for them.
Cody, I think you watched some military podcast, situational awareness. Good call there, buddy. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Have a good day.
You too. All right, let's go back to the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Jackson, finally a celebration. I want to talk about that hell of a win. Let's go, Jackson. What's up, man?
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm actually really good. I'm really, really good.
Oh, I know. I am too. It was so exciting. First half, I was sitting out in my little room watching the game with my wife and a friend, and it was scary. My stomach was sick because I know that we're so much better than that. And then all of a sudden, that second half erupts, that 4th and 12, and the rest is history. I mean, how can you not send him to New York for the Heisman? How can this team not make a national championship, SEC championship? I mean, how is that not possible? I mean, the heart, the drive, the competitiveness, the culture. I mean, Elko has a hell of a culture.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. I'm so excited.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the phone call, Jackson, and I agree. And speaking of that fourth quarter, they held the ball for over 10 minutes of that fourth quarter. That's what A&M does at the end of games. I mean, they dominate the line of scrimmage. I'm trying to see what their time of possession was in the third quarter.
Oh, sorry, third quarter. Overall, it was 30 minutes, 16 seconds.
Okay, so obviously the first half wasn't so good. Do you have what it was, time of possession in the third quarter? Actually, South Carolina had a little bit more time in the third quarter, 7:53 to A&M 7:01. But in the fourth quarter, it was total domination. We go, man, look at the callers. Go back to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending hotline. We'll talk to DJ here on TexAgs. DJ, welcome to TexAgs, man.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was talking to my father-in-law at halftime, and I made a prediction. I said the only way we win this is if Marcel goes for 300 and Elko makes his defensive adjustments. That looked pretty good at the end of the game.
That he did. So, by the way, if you want to know what his numbers were, because he threw for over 202 yards in the third quarter, I should say. In the second half, he threw for 298, just shy of that 300.
Right.
Well, good stuff, DJ. Appreciate the phone call, man. Gig 'em. I'm glad you enjoyed the game.
Absolutely.
All right, that's DJ there on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending hotline. All right, let's do one text before we hit a break. Then we'll do a final segment. Then I think it'll be all Billy all the time in the 10 o'clock hour. We go back to Ella Ryan at the Angry Elephant. Oh, by the way, speaking of the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, did you know, I don't think you knew this, did you know that we will be doing our show Friday from the Angry Elephant in Bryan?
I did not know that.
Now you
I'm
do.
excited.
Are you going to go?
We'll see.
We'll see, maybe.
She's got to work. So
yeah,
I do work on Friday, so somehow.
Nick, have you been to that Bryan location before?
Yeah, I have. I have been a few times. I used to live over in that area, so it's a cool spot. Been there a few times. It's going to be fun. Why not come out, hang out on a Friday morning, get some breakfast? I know they do that. I'm going to go out there and maybe scout it out, see what I can do. Maybe get some, an upgraded set from what we're used to at the Angry Elephant.
Oh,
who knows? So we'll see. We'll see.
By the way, that's the location by Miramont. Am I right about that?
That's
or am I
correct.
making that
Yeah.
up? Okay. So we'll go there. Anyway, you were going to read us something. So
This is from Matt. This text said, if Elko is worth his raise and extension, he will find a way to drill consistency and execution to everyone in the program. To me, that's all that stands between this team and a natty. No one beats a second half Aggie team.
No, and nobody, we've been saying it since his first stint with A&M. There is nobody better in the second half of games than Mike Elko, defensively and offensively. Like what we've seen this year and what we saw oftentimes last year is a guy that he just figures out what you're doing and he takes it away. I mean, Lenore Sellers had such a phenomenal first half. And is it Jacob Sellers or Jalen? I forget his Jacob, right? The other Sellers.
His brothers, yeah. His brother.
Yeah. Jay Sellers, we'll just say. Lenore's his brother. He was so good too, right?
It's Jaden. Except none of the above.
We were way wrong. I just know there was always a Sellers involved in a play, it felt like. But they took that away. We talk about the first half stats. Let's talk about the second half stats for South Carolina now. Total yards, 76 total yards. Rushing attempts, 15. For, let's say, 0.9 yards. I don't think that's good. Okay. Passing, 6 of 11 for 63 yards. Okay. That's, those numbers don't add up, but that's what it says here. Penalty yards, 4 for 35. And they punted 3 times. So all that to say what A&M did was turn it on, and then they got the 4 sacks in the fourth quarter. And when A&M is playing with you at second and long and third and long, they're going to come for you. Oh, Cassius Howell, Dayon Hayes, Will Lee, all getting in the act. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with the final segment, maybe even a couple more phone callers at 979-693-1150. A moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell. Online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. If you're looking for a selection that won't break the bank, you should check out Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They're stocking up on new vehicles at all times, and their inventory is growing daily. And here's the real deal. They're south of those big city prices. No dealer add-ons. What you see is what you pay. They have an Aggie alumni team, and they're ready to roll out the red carpet for you, and they have value, value, value. Every purchase comes with that free oil change for life. That is thousands of dollars in savings for your vehicle, and their pre-owned inventory is moving fast, which means you'll get top dollar for your trade-in today. Don't wait. Those deals will not last forever. Remember, it's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. A short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. I love talking to myself with the mic off. It's one of my favorite things to do here. It's a TexAgs pastime here on the program. Billy is in the building, not in studio, obviously. If he came in studio, we'd be so late for a break, so we're not going to do that. We're going to get him here in about 4 minutes. Taylor McGregor, who was the sideline reporter at the game on Saturday, will be joining us here at 10 o'clock, so looking forward to talking to her about her perspective. I know Billy and her talked quite a bit about how nobody left. Wade just texted me about how impressed he was that nobody left the game as well. Like, it really is something. Now, I don't know if it would have been the case in the fourth quarter if they're down 30-3. I think some people would have left. I have a family member, might be my brother, who leaves games early no matter what. He hates traffic and he'll leave, right? That's how some people operate. Like, I just don't want traffic, right? I get it. No, I don't. Not in this special season. I want people to really I did something earlier to Nick that I kind of need to apologize about, Nick. Not that I did anything wrong, but I told you, have you seen next year's schedule? Bro, let's win this season. What's wrong with me?
I've had to stop myself from doing that a few times, just thinking ahead, oh, well, who's going to come back? It's like, dude, what are we doing? Why do that?
Enjoy the season. And by the way, when they were getting their kicked on Saturday, right? Let's say it would have played out that way. Yeah, would it have obviously changed the momentum of the season? But it's still been an amazing season. If you can't enjoy this, when will you enjoy? Don't be Nick Saban and not enjoy it. And the moment you win a national championship, you're already planning for next year. Enjoy the moment. There are some really great moments happening right now, more than just one. I mean, if you think about what I'm thinking about, the roller coaster of emotions, the
win probability graph.
There you go.
That's
the win
what
probability.
you're talking about,
right? Just the entire thing. But moments that this season are going to stand out. Obviously, what we just saw, the defensive stands against Auburn, what they did against LSU going on that 35-0 run, what they did going on the road against Missouri. By the way, Missouri scored 49 points. Nobody's talking about that against Mississippi State. Now, I know it's Mississippi State, but the running game had no problem running on them. Ahmad Hardy had 300 yards rushing. 300 yards rushing. This A&M defense has, they had their problems. And I want to give Billy, is it Chris Felicia? How do you say that dude's name? Falica? I don't know. Fallopian? I know he's famous. He's very good.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Chris Falica, I think is his name. He's famous. He says top 40 Sagarin wins this year. Texas A&M has 7. Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss have 6. Oklahoma have 5. Indiana, Miami, Ohio State, Texas, and Vandy with 4. Notre Dame with 3. USC with 3, and there's a couple more. All right. So he tweeted that. And Billy said, this is why the recent surge in A&M schedule slander is so ridiculous. Why aren't we applying that same microscope to Indiana, Ohio State, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, and Notre Dame? All very good points. So there is that. By the way, I know we got a couple of callers on there. I don't know if we're going to have time for them. I don't know. I guess we can try. I don't know. I don't know who the caller is. Do I give it a try? Okay, sorry, caller. That's Nick. You can be mad at Nick, not me. We got to hit a break. What am I going to do? Now I'm going to upset everybody at Bryant Broadcasting because it's time for Double Daves. The final segment of the program is at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12. I don't even have the script in front of me. 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable, in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com and your favorites are on their way. Billy Liucci, Taylor McGregor, Bucky McMillan, Luke Evangelos, and you next on TexAgs Live. All right, we are back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy Liucci's in studio, and Billy, I got to meet Taylor on Friday here in the studio. She got to cover the game. She was a sideline reporter. We go to the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Taylor McGregor joining us here on TexAgs Live. What's up, Taylor?
Guys, I wish I was still in College Station. What a game on Saturday. That was so much fun. I'm happy to be on, though.
I'm telling you, after a weekend like that, and y'all got here Thursday, got to see you and Dusty, and when everybody leaves, and after a weekend like that, it's just like you feel like you're in the quietest town on earth. So yeah, while you're up there in Chicago, we're down here just kind of in the aftermath of Saturday and the whirlwind that y'all brought in here.
Well, I wish I was still there because that was incredible. And I'll probably say this 10 times on the call. I was so impressed with the 12th man and how even though you're down 27 at half, no one left. And it was an electric atmosphere. I'll remember that game day forever. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. You know, you've been doing this for so long and seen so many games. Where did that rate just overall experience? You're down there right in the middle of it. You were a part of, I think, two pretty epic interviews. The early one with Shane Beamer and then the halftime one with Coach Elko. I mean, like, those were, like, as far as, like, throw it back up to you interviews go, you know, like, I found both of those for different reasons just fascinating. I'm sitting there watching them after the game. But just describe where this one rates in terms of just overall experience. You know, the stunning upset / blowout turns into the greatest comeback in A&M history.
Yeah, so to start with the interviews, sometimes I'll be honest, the interviews with the coaches can be a little bit of throwaways and you don't really learn much. But the reason you do them is for the gold that we got on Saturday. Because to begin with that quarter interview with Shane Beamer, I mean, what an answer he gave. Basically saying, I don't know why anybody's surprised. We kicked these guys' butts a year ago in Columbia. And it was like, oh, okay, so this is the mood of the team. And then at halftime, look, usually you go with the winning coach, but I felt like if I was a fan at home, I wanted to hear from Coach Elko because they're the number 3 team in the country. They're getting their butts kicked at home, and I want to know what he has to say. And I thought he gave a pretty good answer when it came to Marcel Reed, and then I followed with the physicality because South Carolina was much more physical than Texas A&M was in the first half. And he gave a quick answer, and it was basically like, we'll be better. And then in the second half, they were better. So, I asked him post-game again what he said, and he kind of just said, I didn't really say much. I just said we had to do what we needed to do to win, and that was play Texas A&M football, which is dominating the line of scrimmage. And so, anyways, as far as the broadcast, that was the stuff I found interesting. But the overall experience, this, having worked in college football as long as you have, the night games are the best, usually. That was the best noon game I've ever been a part of, noon Eastern. Sometimes it's harder to get an electric crowd that early in the day, but oh my gosh, that crowd was rocking. I was so impressed with that. And then again, the fact that nobody left, even though your team was down by 27. And it's funny because I grew up in Denver. I have a friend who went to Texas A&M who lives in Denver. And he messaged me after the game, and I said the same thing. I'm so impressed nobody left. And he goes, well, it's a good thing my tickets cost so much because I might have contemplated leaving, but I had to stay. It was great.
I knew a lot. And by the way, for our listeners, I thought you were going to talk about, reference Annie. For those of you listening, yes. Taylor, talk about your friendship with Annie because she's beloved here at TexAgs. Annie Kuntz, for those of you listening.
Yeah, so Annie and I have known each other basically our whole lives. We became really good friends, I would say, in high school, but my grandfather was a longtime high school football coached against Annie's dad, Terry, who won a Super Bowl with the Raiders. So Annie and I have known each other our whole lives, and she's still one of my best friends. I'm going to be in her wedding in a couple months here down in Cabo. So looking forward to that. But Annie is the reason that I started really following Texas A&M, the 12th man, and she was the first one to introduce me to the culture. So I visited her in College Station in college, and that was my first taste of Texas A&M. And it's been fun throughout the years going back with work, but I always give credit to Annie because she was the first one to introduce me to the 12th man.
Taylor, was there a point that you're watching this and like, they actually might come back and win? Like, when did it make sense? Like, okay, everything that he said at halftime is actually happening.
So I honestly, at halftime, when I interviewed Shane Beamer off camera, coming back on, he reminded me these guys came back on us last year, and then, ultimately we pulled away at the end and won. But I kind of thought, I was like, there's just more in the bag here for Texas A&M. So I had a feeling at half, like, we're still going to get a good game. I just knew that at some point, some things were going to turn. They were going to clean up the turnovers and, hit the wide open receivers, and things were going to click. And then it was like in the fourth quarter when South Carolina just could not get a stop, I was like, Texas A&M is going to win this game. And we always, some inside baseball for everybody. During the TV broadcast, when it goes to commercial, my microphone is always open to the guys in the booth. So we're constantly communicating. And we all were in each other's headsets in the break saying, I think Texas A&M is going to win this game. Like, they are going to win this game. And that probably started entering the fourth quarter.
Yeah. No, I was shocked too by how I went back and rewatched it, and it's like you didn't even watch it. When you go back and watch the TV broadcast, it was fun to watch and listen to you guys as it kind of the evolution of a comeback, right? And I'll tell you what, I would have thought one more score by South Carolina and it's over. Obviously, 37-10, even 33-10 was going to be next to impossible, but when Marcel had that 12-yard or 15-yard run, 4th and 12, if you go back and rewatch the degree of difficulty to make those guys miss and get to the sticks, and that really sparks it or started it, I thought, was that play. My question to you is, after watching what Reed and the Aggies did there in the second half and down the stretch, where do you feel like he fits into that Heisman discussion? Do you think he's a guy, Taylor, that's kind of already likely to end up in New York? Now it's a question of, out of him, Mendoza, Julian Sayin, et cetera, how these guys play in the final 2-3 weeks. Is that where we're at? Or what do you think of Marcel's performance?
No, that's a great question. And I think in recent memory for me, I don't remember being this late into the season and still feeling like the Heisman, to be honest, is pretty wide open.
Yeah.
You could make a case for 6-7 guys who could end up in New York. But I think what really solidifies a Heisman candidate is deep into the stretch, being able to make plays as a quarterback off script. And I felt like that's what you saw out of Marcel Reed. They couldn't run the ball in the first half. I mean, -9 yards rushing. And he kind of took it upon himself in the second half to make plays with his feet, which he had been doing all year, but for some reason the first half couldn't get it done. And so I felt like if there was any moment for him that solidifies his candidacy for the Heisman, it was Saturday, because of the way that he basically put the team on his shoulders in the second half and started running the football, making plays off script that allowed Texas A&M to come back in that game.
Taylor, you've gotten to cover some great things in your career. Does this one kind of rank up there for just being a part of history?
Absolutely. Yes. And it was weird. And I don't know if you guys felt like this at all watching it, but I guess at half, I wasn't thinking this could be a historical comeback. Like, it wasn't really until they started slapping the graphics, until Texas A&M kept scoring, that I was like, oh my gosh, what are we watching? Like, they were down 27. And here we are. So I think at the end of the game, when I was able to decompress, I was like, that was one of the coolest things I've ever experienced. And again, I will say it to all the Aggie fans watching, it was because of the crowd in large part. I mean, they were amazing. That the scene there was unforgettable. And I just have to give so much credit to the way they all showed out on Saturday.
I think you nailed it earlier when you said for an 11 a.m. game. because as the day wears on, you forget that it's still like 1:30 in the afternoon, and you've been there all day, and it was just louder and louder, and you're just going, man, it was an electricity that you just don't get for the 11s. Taylor, I'm glad you were here. Glad to get to hang out. Glad to meet you guys. And it was, I thought it was you guys did a great job of capturing I'm glad I watched it on TV again before talking to you, because you guys did a great job of just capturing the entire crew of like what was happening as it was happening. It made it a much more fun watch, I guess, if you're not a South Carolina fan. And the cool part for y'all and I think for Texas A&M, the 12th man, the fans, when that game started, I don't think that many people planned on watching it. You know, like they're like, it's number 3 team versus unranked. Because the first half went the way it did, I couldn't tell you the number of people around the country that had nothing to do with A&M, but that just knew I was an Aggie and that was my team, that were texting me. Everyone was tuning in for that second half to watch the game and the broadcast. So that was pretty cool. It was stressful, but I'm glad it worked out that way, right?
Well, thank you for saying that. I thought our crew did a great job. I want to point out, when you were talking, it reminded me of something. I thought a pivotal moment, and going back to Marcel Reed, and I don't know if you remember this on the broadcast, but somewhere in the third quarter, it was after they came out of half, scored that touchdown, and Marcel comes to the sideline and gathers everybody on offense together and is like hyping them up with this message of, we're Texas A&M, we need to play our brand of football. And it was one of those things that you see on the sideline where you're like, all right, that dude has it. And now you felt the momentum shift to Texas A&M. So not only was his performance on the field, for what everybody at home got to see, special, but what I was able to witness on the sideline and hopefully portray to the audience is that dude's a leader, and that dude means a lot to Texas A&M, and I definitely witnessed that on Saturday.
Heck yeah.
Taylor, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it.
Oh, it was awesome chatting with you guys. Hopefully again soon.
Thanks, Taylor. Appreciate you.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bill, we got a couple callers on hold. Do you want to just hear from them before we hit a break? Because we got a couple minutes before break time. Michael is on the Puppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. Wants to talk a little bit about national championship hopes. Michael, welcome to TexAgs.
Hey, how are you guys doing? Appreciate it, David.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you calling in, Michael.
Hey, a couple of quick comments. Number one, and I'm sure you and Billy caught this, Reed's fumble in the first half that led to the scoop and score. If you go back and watch it, defensive end or tackle for the Gamecocks was offsides about at least 1.5 yards. That play probably shouldn't have happened. It wasn't a screw up by A&M as much as a missed call. Number two, Reed's 12-yard run was fabulous. It was absolutely money. But Bussey's catch on fourth, I think it was like in the next series is what really made it go. So it was certainly a team effort. My final comment, A&M's got their offense is for real, no question. Their defense is solid. And I think, as Elko has pointed out a number of times, the key for us is consistency. It's kind of like being good at golf. Don't get too high, don't get too low. But absolutely, the Aggies can win a national title. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much, Michael. Appreciate you, bud.
And he's right about that Bussey catch too. And it was a team. It was a real team thing there. You know, and you just look no further than Isaiah Williams. Like, he gets that thing started. You see number 0 running wide open down the field for a touchdown, and you start going, how many catches did he have this year? You know, like it, and came back later and made, other contributions. So I thought that was such a team victory. And then you go into a locker room and you really know that you have to come out and be perfect. It's rare you can get that. They were perfect on both sides of the ball.
One more. Keith on the Puppies Catering and Bartending Hotline on the clutch gene that this team has. Keith, welcome to TexAgs.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Nuño, Liucci, thank you all for everything. Love the content right now.
Thanks, buddy.
As an old and I'm gonna date myself with what I'm about to say here, but I'm trying to be mindful. I think Aggies need to be mindful in this moment. If you look at sports history, you think of names like Kirk Gibson, Carlton Fisk, Johnny. I mean, different sports, but you look to the predicates of success. Success is very often downstream of culture, and I think that the culture, Elko's culture, creates a clutch mentality. We've seen it time and again. This past weekend is just the most recent installment. There's something clutch, just like those guys I mentioned from history. That this team is clutch. They have it. I don't know how you get it the way at the level we've got it, but I think we're watching that in front of us right now, and I don't think folks are giving enough attention to the clutch factor in what we're doing.
Great call. And
Appreciate that, Keith.
And that
Thanks
is,
so much.
Yeah, that was a great call. Coach Elko has, from the day he got here, he values that and understands that you can't win until you have that top down. And that, whether you're talking about the head coach, your strength coach, your quarterback, your captains, the best / most vocal leader in each of those individual position groups, like the freshmen that come in that see this right away. There was a lot said in that locker room at halftime during the game, like Taylor was talking about. It's not just how they were playing. It was the words that were being spoken. It was the belief that you could come back. Coach Elko, I don't know if he threw a chair, broke a dry erase board or screamed and yelled, or went in there and just said, guys, we know we're better than this, and go out and handle it. Like, I don't know how he did it. I'm interested to find out, but he's hitting the right buttons, but it's because it's probably not that hard anymore. They're not perfect. They're going to have, in this game, it was a really bad half of offense and defense. We've seen it where one side of the ball is struggling, the other, but they pick each other up. They've got each other's back. But clutch is a word he kept saying. It's right, man. Like, you had to be perfect on offense on the road in Fayetteville that day, and they were. You had to be perfect on that final drive against Notre Dame in South Bend, and you were. The final play. This week, you couldn't slip. You had every single play you had in 30 minutes of football had to be perfect, and maybe for all but one they were. Right. It was a really sensational half of football. Very few football teams could dream of putting together. Forget about opponent. It was an SEC opponent. South Carolina, they're not a good football team this year. Dylan Stewart's an amazing player. Some of those defensive linemen at South Carolina are amazing, and they're NFL players. Dylan Stewart's going to be a high-round draft pick. Lenore Sellers has the potential to be a special quarterback. He's going to be a high NFL pick, per what I read. Sometimes I don't see it with him, but he's a baller.
Yeah.
Like Nick Harbor looked like DK Metcalf.
He did.
There was a reason they were picked so high, and there's a reason I didn't have a lot of faith in them, and we saw that in the second half. But that's an SEC team that took Ole Miss deep into the football game recently, that had no business losing to Bama either. Now, that comeback was nothing like this one, but they had that game kind of almost like tucked away. Yep. Like that one actually, in this one, the Aggies, shockingly, the most stunning thing about this game is that A&M took the lead with like 11 minutes. They erased 30-3 in like barely over 16 a quarter.
Minutes, yeah.
And, Bama, that was down to the very end. They were close. They were actually closer to beating Alabama, and in terms of like game control and things like that. But it doesn't matter who you played. To have to play almost a perfect half and be able to do that is almost unheard of. And when you're having to do that to preserve a perfect season, and to be really honest, David, if they would have lost that game by multiple scores, we'd be talking about how they have to go to Austin and win just to get in the playoffs.
Yep.
Because that committee, I think, would have really punished A&M for losing at home to a 3-win football team. So, yeah, there was a lot of clutch going on. There's a hell of a lot of culture. And then I'm just telling you, Marcel Reed, he's up there with as clutch an athlete as I've seen at A&M, and just staying calm and cool It's something. I was actually talking to Coach early this morning before here, and it reminded me of a couple years ago, that comeback against Georgia, where we go down, 9-0 after an inning, and then just outclassed them the rest of the way. But it just took one. That was a really good Georgia team. But it just, that weekend, that day, you realize, like, man, this team is really special. They have a chance to do something unforgettable, and they did, and they were that close to winning the whole thing. I think this is just another example, completely different way, of why this group has the potential to do something really special.
All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with more here on TexAgs, and then we'll have Bucky McMillan and Billy and Luke at 10:35. Right now, Daily Company, a family-owned and licensed insurance business that offers HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and generator services, and that is available to you 24/7, 365, and they include HVAC with your thermostat repairs, your refrigerant leaks, your furnace failures, your seasonal tune-ups. Plumbing-wise, they take care of those leak repairs, those clogged drains, those water heater installations, and maintenance to keep those pipes in top shape. Electrical wiring and outlet repairs, upgrades for safety and efficiency, and generator repair, maintenance, and installation to prepare for power outages. They serve all of Bryan and College Station. They serve Houston. They serve Austin. Upfront prices with no surprises. Contact the Daily Company at 979-260-2020. That is 979-260-2020, or visit them at godaily.com to experience the daily difference. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 3 of the show. This is going to be a shorter segment because we got Bucky McMillan at 10:35. Billy, one of the things that it hasn't been lost because we've talked about every storyline, but like the turnover, I called it the paradox. Like you get 2 fumbles, a couple interceptions, and you still win the game. Like everything that went south, and by the way, when most of those were going south, you found yourself in a huge hole. But to be able to overcome that recipe, if I just tell you 4 turnovers, you're thinking there's no chance in an SEC game.
Come on, dude. Like, period. Just the 4 turnovers.
Right.
I'd love to see how many times Texas A&M's won a football game since joining the SEC with 4 turnovers. I'd like to see the last time A&M's won a game turning the ball over 4 times. Any team that turns it over 4 times, when one of those turnovers leads to a defensive touchdown and 2 of them happen in the red zone, then it really gets crazy in terms of like, what are your percentages of winning?
Yep.
Because those turnovers cost A&M 14 points, and it was a 21-point swing just on those three. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a 21-point swing on those 3 turnovers alone. So to win any football game when you can do that is insane. Then you mix in a couple missed field goals. You mix in a drop touchdown pass. It is unheard of and unthinkable that A&M won that football game. And really, they were a yard away from going up 8 there. And I'm sitting there going, they're going to go up 8. South Carolina's about to go 4 and out inside their own, 30 because they got to go for it. And then the Aggies are going to score again and win this game by 15 points.
Yep.
It was really starting to trend that way. And then you had the other turnover. But I just think that I don't think I've ever watched a football game, including the UCLA one. And they're probably about the same in this regard, where the swing was just so dramatic. It's like nothing you'd ever witnessed in a football game. And I've seen it twice with Aggies being on each side of it. It's crazy. I just love the fact that they did it to Shane Beamer too. And Taylor mentioned that interview, like the way that dismissive hand gesture just stood out to me. If I was Mike Elko and I had like a free hour this week, which he probably wouldn't, I'd probably just have that thing on a loop, just watching that interview and just like sipping on my cup of coffee, just watching that and just reveling in the fact. South Carolina fans have to be so tired of Shane Beamer's shtick and just blowing games at the end.
That's what it is. It's shtick. And Elko is substance. And there's the difference between the two.
And I think everyone in college football, certainly in the coaching world, understands that.
Yeah.
You remember he made the comment about Coley when Coley left for Georgia, and he has to say, well, we hired a better coach. Well, I don't know who that coach is because he's not doing much of crap for you on the offensive side of the ball, but like things like that, and just I've heard him make comments over the years. It's just I get a real strong sense of like little man's complex or inferiority, and feeling the need. I don't know if he thinks that people think of his position as nepotism, and he's trying to overcompensate. I'm over here being a psychiatrist, but he's a good coach. Like he's worthy of that job. Like I don't understand like all these antics and these comments and just feeling the need even after the game to keep bringing up that you won that game last year by 24. Hey, cool. Congratulations. And guess what? We sat in these chairs and gave them all the credit in the world. So did Elko. Elko was saying it this year. They kicked our butts last year. But, he talked about it. It just didn't make – it makes him very unlikable. And I actually like the idea of South Carolina being good. I think I like that just – I don't know. I like the environment at Williams-Brice. I like I like the mascot. I like the sandstorm thing. I've got friends from there. Like, I like the idea of South Carolina being a good SEC team. But he's gotten them close to doing, breaking through, but he hasn't gotten them there, and I don't think he will. And I think South Carolina fans probably know that a hell of a lot more. I know they know that a hell of a lot more than I do. It wouldn't surprise me, and if he's in any way angling, or pondering the Virginia Tech job, maybe it's a good thing if they just, split now, go there, go work, at the job your dad made, turn them into a powerhouse, go there and see if you can try to recreate it, and maybe both sides are better off. I don't think that'll happen, but I feel like if that happened, that would be better off for Beamer and South Carolina. Those antics were preposterous. And that stunt walking off the field at halftime.
It did look AI. You're right.
It looked
it did
the
look
way
real.
his motions, he was so herky jerky. It was like something an insane person would do. Like Shutter Island.
Yeah, I watched. I was like, wait, is it
like,
flickering? It's almost like flicker. Like
yeah, it was wild and
pixelated.
And you can't do that and lose a football game, especially when people are already kind of fed up with your act.
All right, we'll hit a break here. When it comes to your money, your peace of mind, it starts with the right team, and that's Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary firm serving clients across Texas. No commissions, no sales pitches, just trusted advice tailored to you. They have 18 professionals, including over 9 CFPs, a CFA, and a CPA, and their expertise runs deep at Paragon because credentials do matter, and so does your future. Visit paragon-adv.com or call them up 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors. Integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. We're going to turn our attention to basketball. Luke Evangelist joining us here on the program. Let's go to the Buc-ee's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We talked to Bucky McMillan after a rough one against Central Florida, and they regrouped to take on Montana tomorrow. And we go to that hotline. Bucky, good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, guys. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Got you.
Thank you so much for joining us. So let's just, I guess, start off with what happened on Friday. Just your thoughts here, a couple days removed from it.
Yeah, actually, 30 minutes of the game, I thought we did a lot of good things in the game. I mean, tons of improvement from the previous game from Oklahoma State, particularly on the defensive end. I mean, we were in control of the game, up 14. If you would have took a picture of us and them when we were at that point in the game, I would have thought we had about a 99% chance to pull that out and probably extend the lead. So in terms of improvement, I'm really pleased with some of the improvement I saw in those first 30 minutes. Unable to close it, as we know. But it was a step in the right direction. Now, we're not pleased that we didn't close it out, but step in the right direction. We got to build on the positives in that right into the next game. We play Montana, who they beat UNLV by about 10 points at UNLV. They win about 25 games every year. UNLV just went in there and beat Memphis last night. So they're a good team, a really good mid-major that, usually these mid-majors, they're good because they have continuity. They got guys that played together for a couple of years. So that'll be a real battle tomorrow to see if we can grow on last game. And that's what we can control, and that's what we're going to control is how can we be better than we were the previous game. And if you do that, basketball's a long season. You're going to have a pretty good team by the end of the year.
Yeah, it is. And that's something I think everybody, it's funny this time of year, Buck, when you're in football where you can, be playing South Carolina and feel like if we don't win this thing, it shakes up the whole trajectory of our season, whether that's accurate or not. That's always the feeling. And then in basketball, you understand that it really is truly a marathon and not a sprint. If you've been covering or talking about this, much less playing or coaching it for so long, you get that. So you look for, like you mentioned a minute ago, improvements along the way. It's only been a few games, but from start of season till now, what are you most encouraged about versus what you're like, okay, this is what we've got to fix ASAP, like immediately?
Yeah, well, the thing we had to fix in the Oklahoma State game, we talked last week.
Yeah.
Look, every team that I've ever coached, you would walk away saying that those guys, man, they really play hard.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Oklahoma State game, we didn't bring that. If you watch our game last game, you would say the guys, we were the hardest playing team on the floor in the last game versus Florida. Now, the stats in the game are pretty identical. They made 5 more threes than we did. And we're a good three-point shooting team. So for whatever reason, we got to, get back to shot making a little bit. And that's something that you don't want to put pressure on your guys for it because it's going to come. But we're a better three-point shooting team than we're shooting it right now. And listen, I've been this a long time. Every first year I've had, you have some takes a second. I know that.
Yeah.
But I remember I had a team one year. A team that won 30 games, should have beat Kansas in the NCAA tournament, broke the school win record at Stanford by about 7 games, broke a lot of SoCon records, became a top scoring team in the country, all of that. We lost our first 2 games, and one of those games we lost by 50.
Oh, wow.
Right? And then we won 17 straight games. Had the longest win streak in the country. Won like 26 in a row or something at home in a row that could continue through the years. So this is not my first rodeo seeing a bunch of new guys together. This doesn't surprise me. I am surprised that where we were 30 minutes in that game, we didn't pull that out because I tell you what, guys, if we had pulled that out, we got it to 14, then we're last 10 minutes, we pull it out, free throw, 16, 18, win by 20. We'd be sitting here talking about what a heck of a week for Aggie sports, right?
Right.
We'd all have this different deal in the basketball program. We'd be sitting there, hey, man, we got that one back at Oak State. We just had a 20-piece, and now let's keep rolling. Didn't happen that way, but could have happened that way. And we got to just keep rolling, man. We're going to have opportunities tomorrow. We got 2 more here at home. Then we go on the road. We go to play Florida State in Florida, who just almost beat Florida, the national champs the other night. And we're going to go to Pittsburgh and then in Dallas versus SMU. Then we got our SEC conference schedule with 1 million quad 1 games. So we focus on what we can control. We can get that one back from the other night. That's for sure.
You mentioned the 3-point shooting. How much did not having Rylan Griffin for the second half impact that, and then how is he doing?
He's going to be fine. He's going to be able to play Tuesday. He didn't practice yesterday. I felt a little naked over there. You're looking down, and obviously McKenzie's in street clothes, and Rylan goes out when we get up 14, and probably maybe your best offensive players weren't in the game. So that hurt. And the thing with Rylan's actually a good passer. He leads us in assists. And he's one of the few guys with experience, obviously started on the Final Four team. So I think, obviously him in the lineup helps. And y'all going to see a big difference in our team with McKenzie when he comes back. I mean, you got to remember, we got one guy on the draft board, and that's McKenzie.
Yeah.
And he hadn't got to play yet. And he's going to come back here, probably get some minutes Friday. He's going to be like Pop. Pop, you can see Pop's trying to find his way because he's been out. He's not going to be in midseason form, but you're going to get to see some different things with our rotations. And I think our team's going to take another big step forward, particularly when he's in that lineup.
Well, it seems like just from what you and I have talked about and the guys on your staff about him back, when you got him, when he got here, what he was showing, he seems like the type player, too, that, like you said, there's going to be a acclimation period being out for that long, but seems like the type player that his presence on the floor is going to really, open things up for some other guys, but just really make a lot of the individual pieces better as well, just by his mere presence, not to mention the points and rebounds and assists he's going to be racking up.
That's exactly right. I think what we have a little bit of right now, we have some guys playing a little out of position.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Rashawn Agee playing more of a 4 when he's really a 5, and it's a struggle for us defensively. We have guys probably having to do a little too much on the offensive end with McKenzie out, and you see that a little bit. So I think the other players are going to play better as well. But, guys, I know what I know. We took a big step in terms of what can win in the last game, and we just got to take another one. And then when McKenzie's back and these rotations are going, this team was going to come together. I'm not going to say this is going to be the best Aggie team we've ever had. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say it's going to be when we're a top 10 team in the country every year. I'm not saying that those teams may not be better than where this team is right now, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to say this, that this team's going to get a lot better. And this is something we knew when you have all new players. And because of that, because it's not going to be the most we've ever had on the floor, we got to have everybody fighting with us. We got to stay with it. And more than ever, we got to have everybody fighting with us. This is not anything we didn't expect. And we just got to keep fighting. I saw a quote. Someone sent me a quote. Said, how you sleeping? I said, I don't sleep. I haven't slept at all since these losses. And they sent me a Lou Holtz quote. And he said, the quote was, I just want to ask, Coach, with the new team, in a tough schedule, how you sleeping at night? He says, man, I sleep like a baby. I sleep 2 hours and wake up crying.
Right. No rest for the weary. I know, no rest for the weary, but you're right. Tomorrow night, I think Luke needs to rile up the students, get them out there, because I think it's, again, that was a step forward. This is I think everybody looks at it as a process, but it's not a process like, it's exciting to look ahead a year, 2 years, at the Bucky era, let's say. But I'm talking about this year. Each game's a step. And like you said, there was one, I think, fatal flaw up there in Stillwater that you guys corrected one game later. And now you just kind of grow from there. So it is tomorrow night's a big one, so I think everybody get out there and get back in the win column.
Yeah, for sure. And we appreciate the support. We felt them in the last game. And, it means a lot. You know, we know we've had so many good texts. Hey, man, we got y'all's back. We're going to keep fighting, and it means a lot. And it's going to be that much sweeter when we get it done. When we get it done here in time where we're going, those that were riding through it all, it's going to be that much sweeter for everybody, man.
Yep.
Bucky, we appreciate it. Good luck. We'll see you tomorrow.
Appreciate y'all guys.
All right, Buck. Thanks.
Thank you. Bucky McMillan there on the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline.
Man, Luke, you know, and I think that's something, you walk a fine line when there's a new coach and he's as outgoing and engaging as Bucky is, and you have so much success in that portal the way they did in such a short period of time. And we joke with you, Luke, because he's so fired up about it, but I am too. And it's like, you can't lose sight of the fact that it is a team that was quite literally thrown together in really the summer months. And then you had two of, if not the two most coveted guys in the whole deal were injured for an extended period of time. And so it looks nothing like you thought it was going to look in terms of even personnel. But now, like, again, even with those guys, it was still going to be a transition period when you inherit a program with one player. So I think this team will look nothing later in the year and hopefully sooner than later than it has in the first week or two of the season.
Yeah. I mean, these are the growing pains Bucky talked about all offseason. It's no surprise. They just got to work through it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, farming and ranch families think differently. It's not about working for today. It's about building for generations to come, and that's why Heritage Films created Farm and Ranch Films, where they document family ranches' stories, the timber operations to the cattle ranches, agricultural legacies across America. And these are not just documentaries. They're cinematic time capsules capturing your unique relationship with your land. So whether you're thinking in 20-year cycles or 100 or anything beyond that, Farm and Ranch Films are going to preserve the wisdom, the work ethic, and the values that make your family so special. Check out your legacy and see this level of craftsmanship by visiting yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, and check on the Farm and Ranch Film of the website, 713-893-8341. It is Heritage Films. All right, final segment of the program, TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, where we're going to be doing a show from the Bryan location on Friday. And Ella Ryan, I know you got some messages to read and some notes.
Yeah, I got some notes. This is just one that made me laugh. We didn't get to it earlier. It's from Chase in Houston. He said, my emotions went from holy blank, this is really happening in the first half, to holy blank, A&M is going to actually cover this game in the fourth quarter, to holy blank, what was that play call, to finally, thank you to the defense for saving the day in the end. When it's your year, it's your year.
So here's the honest, I
felt the same.
I was ticked off. I was in the worst mood. Like, I was in such a bad mood. What was it, the last minute or two? Nick, you remember Colton Becker, who used to work here? Colton Becker, by the way, he was an intern. He was great. He was Johnny Chatty on the sidelines during the last couple of minutes of the game. And I just did not engage. Like, I love Colton. He's doing a great job covering the Aggies. But, like, he wanted to chit-chat. Like, hey, did you talk to Shane Beamer? Colton Becker. I'm upset that we just had a turnover in the last minute of the game, and they're now driving, okay? So, no, I don't care about Shane Beamer. I don't care about Pablo Escobar. I don't care about anything. I'm pissed. That's exactly how I felt. I was, like, angry. And then I had James Leyva to my left wanting to chit-chat. I love James, too. But, like, all these people were, like, in a good mood, and I was angry. Was I the only one angry after that play? Like, that it was lingered angerness.
Yeah, well, I didn't, it took, I think South Carolina, once they got the ball back, they moved it a few, they were starting to drive. And to me, I didn't get angry. I just kind of started to get sad prematurely because I was like, there's no way they came all the way back to lose it on a field goal. But then they sack LaNorris, and then the defense just does its thing. And but yeah, I get what you're coming, or I get where you're coming from there, David.
Let me just go ahead and tell you, when the game's on the line, I don't want to chit-chat. Hey, Nuño, how are the kids? You could have called me 3 hours ago. They're great, by the way. They're my favorites. Hey, Nuño, what color shirt is that? I don't know. Use your glasses. I don't have time to tell you right now. The other team's driving, coming this way, and I'm angry. Hey, Nuño, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? Eating turkey from Buppy's. That's exactly what I'm doing. Okay? Relax. Anyway, love you guys, especially you guys on the game thread. Tomorrow on the show, Josh Pate. Looking forward to that. That and more. We'll see you then.